YouTube, it's Lena, and I'm here today with something a little bit different today. Just a little bit. It is the gamer tag, and while I wouldn't necessarily call myself a true gamer in the traditional sense, I do really love video games. I don't know how well you can see it right now, but I do have the little Hyrule bag in the background. Speaking of Hyrule, I actually have this that I got from Loot Crate, which will probably go up before this video. Well, let's get started. I did think this was a really cool tag, and you guys ask me every once in a while about games that I do like and stuff, because I do ramble on every now and then about something. So I figured I could put this out there and you guys would know. Plus, I just have fun talking about them. Anyways, number one, what is your all-time favorite video game? Now, some of these are gonna have two answers because I have games I like to play, but I also have games that I like to watch other people play, because my husband and I, my now husband and I, the thing that we used to do back when we were just in college, we weren't married yet, we didn't have a lot of money, in our first apartment we had no cable or internet, so one of the things that we did to pass the time a lot was I would watch him play video games. Thank you, phone. So this answer in particular, my all-time favorite video game, my favorite game that I like to play is either The Sims. I'm currently still playing The Sims 3. I own The Sims 4, but I have not installed it yet. I'm probably actually going to do it after I finish filming this tag, because thinking about installing it's what made me realize, oh wait, there was this tag that I wanted to do. My favorite game to watch, though, is probably the Resident Evil series. Like, we owned 1 through 4, or 0 through 4 actually, in that first apartment in college, and I watched him play them all the time. My husband can actually run through the 2 scenarios in Resident Evil 2 in like under 2 hours each. It's crazy. Anyways, what is my current favorite? The Sims 3, that's what I play a lot of. What is your favorite video game genre? I really like open-ended games where I can just go screw around, do whatever I want. And for actual playing purposes, I don't like being led around by the nose too much. As far as what I like to watch my husband play, I really love heavy storyline games. So I've mentioned this in my Q&A video, but like The Last of Us, Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid series, those heavy-duty storyline games. I really love to watch him play those. Whew, how long have you been playing video games? Well, my brother and I shared the regular Nintendo back when I was about 4 or 5 years old. So I'm now 29, so 25-ish years. It's a long ass time. Speaking of, what's the first game you ever played? I loved Duck Hunt on the original Nintendo. We actually had the Nintendo cartridge that was half Super Mario Brothers, half Duck Hunt. I could never get past the second stage of Super Mario Brothers, but I loved Duck Hunt and shooting the little, they weren't actually clouds, they were like clay plates that you do when you do target shooting, but I always thought they were clouds when I was a kid, so that was like the first thing that I ever played and could play for more than like one level. What game have you clocked the most hours into? Definitely The Sims. I used to be so huge into The Sims 2 back when I had them. My house burned down last year and I lost all my games, but I would download content for them. I would download clothes, hairs, like objects they could do stuff with. I even had, you know, the little, it looked like a little Batman box was the one that I downloaded, where you could, you know, cheat through all different kinds of ways. Like teenagers could flirt with adults and stuff like that, which isn't creepy, but that was one aspect of it that I remember. But it just opened up a whole lot of interactions with different people. You could make people instantly fall in love if you were super into like the storylines of The Sims 2, like that you would create. Back when LiveJournal was a huge thing, I used to read a whole bunch of people's, you know, stories they created and stuff like that. So that's probably what I honestly logged the most hours into. Let's see. What's your longest gaming session? Oh my goodness, I could still do it a little bit, but not like I used to. I could do seriously 4 to 5 solid hours playing The Sims. Now, once I hit about the 2-hour mark, I start getting distracted and bored and wanting to do something else, but used to be I could do serious damage. Whew, let's see, who is your favorite game developer? I don't really have one. I mean, I used to work for EA, and The Sims is one of my big time games that I still play to this day. But I also do like Squaresoft or Square Enix. Because I do really love the old Final Fantasy games, like the ones that I can actually play. Like I used to do on my old Nintendo DS. I had the Final Fantasy Dawn of Souls remake where they updated the graphics. It was a little easier to do stuff. I played that all the time. I have no idea how many times I played through that game. I totally lost count. So maybe Squeenix, maybe EA. I don't really have a favorite, honestly. Let's see. Who is your favorite hero character from a game? This I do know. It is actually Leon Kennedy from specifically Resident Evil 4 is where I really got into him. Who is your favorite villain? Let's see. Probably either Wesker from Resident Evil series or Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid series. Those are probably my two favorites. Who is your most hated character of any game? God, I don't really have one. Maybe the dog from the original Duck Hunter that would laugh at you when you missed ducks. I hated that dude when I was a little kid. Oh my god. Other than that, I don't... You know, Ashley from Resident Evil 4 was annoying as shit sometimes, but I don't know if I really hated her. She's supposed to be like either a teenager or a college student. So, I don't know, maybe a little exaggerated, but some teens can be pretty awful. So, I didn't even really hate her. I just hated having to watch like the guided missions and stuff like that. What gaming systems do you own? Let's see. Have the PC. Have my laptop, which is what my Sims 3 is installed on, although it could really stand to be installed on a PC. Because PC does count as a gaming system. Don't let anybody lie to you. We also have the PS4. We have the Nintendo Wii U, which honestly barely gets used. My husband bought that one kind of on a whim. Like, I think there was something that he wanted on it at the time, but really the PS4 is kind of our main gaming system. Let's see, I don't use this, but my husband does have one of the more current Nintendo DS's, but I don't know exactly which one, because I don't really fool with it, so I don't know. Now, I used to have like the old brick Nintendo DS, because it had a cartridge for the Game Boy Advance games. Can't find those anymore, so that's why I haven't replaced it, even though I would love to get my Dawn of Souls game back. I might just break down and go buy like a Game Boy Advance off of eBay or something. I also used to have one of those little faux original Nintendos, like not a real Nintendo, but like something I bought it on eBay. I think it came from either China or Japan, but it worked fine. So I need to replace that thing too someday. Like, I have gaming systems that when my house burned down, I never replaced because they weren't super high priority on my list of things to replace. And now a year and a half later, I still haven't replaced them. Let's see. What was your first gaming system? I mentioned that it was the original Nintendo. Me and my brother got it for Christmas when I was like 5. What's your favorite gaming system and why? Probably PC. That is where my favorite game, The Sims, is. Also, I forgot to mention, one of my favorite older games is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. It's one of the few games that I can play that does require some manual dexterity to it, at least as far as, you know, jumping on the keyboard really quickly and stuff like that. It's one of the few I could play, or at least I forced myself to learn how to play it. Although I admit I still put some cheats on with that. The problem with that is it was released by Troika, who released it on, what's the name of the engine? I know this, but I can't remember the name of it right now. I think it was, no, it wasn't that. I don't know, but it was on some newer game engine. They wanted to get it out ahead of everybody else, and It ran like shit, to be perfectly blunt. They released one patch for it, and then the company went bankrupt. So fans have released patches for it over the years, and it totally made it much more playable and enjoyable, and added back in content that they took out at the last minute. But yeah, that's a game that you have to patch to hell to be able to play. But it is a really good storyline. Then that's one of my big favorite things. I'm sorry, I got rambly. Where was I? What is my favorite gaming system? The PC, and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is also a PC game. That's why my brain decided to jump there. Do you prefer to play guy characters or girl characters? It doesn't really matter to me. It kind of depends on the game that I'm doing, what I'm trying to do in the game. Like in, let's use that as an example, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. If you decide to be a seducer type character, you get more interactions as a girl than you do the guy. So, like on there, I would usually pick a girl. But other than, unless it matters, it doesn't. Like, I don't have an aesthetic preference or anything like that. Do you follow walkthroughs or do you play on your own? Like, for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, I definitely had to follow a walkthrough, and sometimes I would get stuck and have to go re-look stuff up. And I have looked up walkthroughs on different, what do they call it, expansions on The Sims before by getting confused by something. Like on The Sims 3, they had, the first expansion pack was this vacation, and you got to go to Egypt, you got to go to China, or you got to go to France, and they had all these tombs you could explore, and I would get stuck in them, and then I would have to go look up a walkthrough or FAQ to see what the hell I was doing wrong. So yeah, I'm definitely someone who looks up walkthroughs if I get stuck on something. Have you ever been to a gaming convention? Sadly, no. I've never been to anything like E3 or anything like that. So, it makes me sad. I think I would enjoy it. What game are you most excited to come out in the future? This was one of the other things that kind of reminded me, hey, I should do this. Oh my god, I forgot the name of it. Let me look it up real quick. Holy crap, this is totally what I was trying to get to. No Man's Sky, that's what it is, because it is exactly what I love in a game, which is an open universe. It's where you're supposed to be like this astronaut or something, and you're getting to discover new planets and solar systems and stuff like that. I actually first heard about it from Rachel Whitehurst, and I was actually jumping back to look up her July Hits and Shits video because she linked the trailer to it. But it is an awesome sounding game. Unfortunately for those that play on the Xbox alone, it is a PC and PS4 game only at this time. I'm not entirely sure if it's been released yet, because I know it premiered at E3 when that came out. Like, I just watched the trailer for it and it looks amazing. Whew. So yeah, that's something that I'm really wanting to go hunt down and play it in full width. And I haven't decided if I want to get it on the PC or the PS4 yet, though. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I would just be really excited to play it. What is your best memory of a video game? Like I mentioned before, though, that first year of college with my husband and I living together, not having cable or internet, so we would just sit around and he would play video games and I would watch him all the time. That's probably my favorite. What's your worst memory of a video game? Do I have worst memories? Probably working for EA trying to play Madden. Honestly, that's what made me quit my job at EA, was that they switched me to Madden. And no offense to you guys that like Madden, I fucking hate Madden. I did not like it at all. I was no good at it. I was bored to tears. Sometimes literally tears, because I would just get so frustrated. So I couldn't do it. It's probably my worst memories, is being forced to play Madden for a job. Whew. Which video game character do you see yourself as? I have no idea. Probably some sim flailing at a chair because they think it's in the way when it's really not. That's probably the closest thing to me you will ever find, is somebody flailing at something stupid. Anyways, that is it. I will put out all the questions down below. I would love to see you guys do this video. If you do, let me know because I would love to see it. And thank you for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you later. Bye.